Going on, guys? It's Tim with the Gutter Growth Podcast. I'm pretty excited today. We have David Carroll with Dope Marketing. What's going on, David?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How you doing today?
I cannot complain. It is a Thursday, one of my work from home days, and our backyard is currently getting redone. If there's any noise in the background, it is a bit of a production back there right now.
Nice. What are you doing back there?
My wife is attempting to turn it into a Ritz-Carlton, last I heard. So we're not on a huge lot. It's only like a third of an acre, but they're doing a pool, a sport court, kind of like an outdoor living area. We have 5 kids, and so a haven or a place to get go. And there's a gate, and there's stuff, and there's whatever. So
yeah,
see how it turns out. But it is a bit of a production, so I apologize if you guys hear any of the noise. It shouldn't be too bad.
I can't hear anything. I think it filters it out. So
yeah, they're like cutting a tree down right now. It looks like.
Yeah.
Fun.
So yeah, man, we're pretty excited to have you at the summit.
Man, I'm excited for the summit. Atlanta is an amazing city to have events in the first place. But yeah, dude, I love this show.
So for you guys that don't know, Dope Marketing is like the king of printing, and how did you guys end up getting on the Inc. 500?
So we applied. I didn't know what was gonna happen. We're a pretty young business. We're just going into it. We'll be 4 years old in October, and
is that
apparently to get on the Inc. 5000, you have to 3 years in business, and it kind of goes off your growth. We grew a little bit. We were number 475 in the country on the Inc. 5000, number 38th in marketing and advertising, and number 4 in the state of Minnesota. So the team is stoked about that. I'm already, of course, thinking next year, like, what are we going to do to keep this up? But yeah, man, when I founded Dope, I just saw a problem that a lot of people really weren't focused on. So if you would have told me 3 years ago I'd own a print shop, I'd tell you were nuts. That wasn't the plan. But we built a piece of software that allows home service businesses to send laser focused direct mail with no minimum order. We connect to all the CRMs, neighborhood jobs, handwritten notes, gift boxes. I built this business, and we're going to broker all the work out to all different like printers and stuff. And sadly, the print industry is ran by 70-year-old fat guys who suck at golf, whose kids don't want to work for them. And so there was some room for some opportunity. And we really took a data-driven approach. Outside of Dope being a cute name, it stands for data on previous engagement. So we help home service businesses take the data of the things they're doing right in their business and apply that through traditional marketing. Some might call it, just print advertising, guerrilla marketing, digital marketing. But we really found a spot in the market in the home service place for our direct mail, whether it's sending to a list, EDDM, handwritten follow-up notes, that stuff. But then also our print shop. We help thousands of businesses every week, from the simplest stuff, yard signs, door hangers, business cards. And we're really, I'll share some stuff as we talk. We're continuing to evolve our technology to just really make, traditional marketing more impactful for a business, but also more trackable. Our favorite 3 letters in the alphabet, ROI. We want to track that stuff. So that's a big focus of ours as well.
Yeah, it's definitely better when you target that market instead of kind of just blanket in everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, oh, go ahead.
How did Dope Marketing get started? I know that you're in the home service business, but how did it begin?
So I've owned a power washing company for the past 14 years. Like all of us, had no clue what I was doing. Started in my mom's garage. Took 4 of me and my friends to carry a 24-foot ladder out of Home Depot. If you know, it's not a 4-person job. We had no clue what we were doing. Got into window cleaning and gutter cleaning. And then that evolved into power washing pretty quick. And then we got into Christmas lights. I've been removed from that business for about 8 years. I literally have not set foot in that office in 4 years.
So it's still running.
Yeah, dude. I don't know. I'm not involved in the day-to-day whatsoever. I just get my check for being the owner. But the jobs that go, the employees, the stuff. I remember early in my career, I was always like, what are you doing when you make $1 million a year? It's like, oh, I want to get off the truck. I only want to do estimates. And I was like, I'm not that great at any of that. Like the day-to-day of it, the running, home service businesses are amazing. I mean, if we look back, COVID, pandemic, all that crazy stuff was like home service businesses are tried and true, whether you're in spaces that have private equity involved or just showed that like, even if the world is ending, you can still have a profitable company, whether you're an owner and operator or you got, 20 trucks on the field. And for me, I saw very quickly that there was just a lot of other problems that I was better at solving in that business. It was like sales and marketing. I got into software really early, about 4 years into our home service business. For anyone in the power washing and window cleaning space, you might remember, I came out with a tool called Proposal that was equivalent. It was like a PandaDoc, PandaDoc DocuSign type tool. And I had no clue what I was doing, but we got like 400 people to sign up in 90 days for $30 a month. And I was like this way more than running my cleaning company. I understood it more. It was data. It was the stuff that I just had a bit of a background in. And it was still really important to me that we grew our home service business just because it's a good business. Like we're in Minneapolis, I can only wash like 7.5, 8 months out of the year, but we do a lot of gutter cleaning. When we added Christmas lights, that was really beneficial. We've looked over the years at adding gutter installation because we do so much like commercial work and stuff like, like townhouses, CIC, HOA stuff. A lot of business up here in the Twin Cities that we do for some of the big property management companies. And, dope, what hit me was just like direct mail worked. There were days where I was sending, or months, I was sending 100,000 pieces of EDDM. We're sending a targeted list, high income, which is no one should do, target income, you target home value. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But like we were trying all of it because I just saw it working for other businesses, but it was just really hard. Like a direct mail campaign took 2 to 8 weeks to set up. Then you got to track it and get to the post office and do the dance and all of it. It was just really hard. And I just saw a different way it could be done. Facebook ads are so easy for an owner to get on their phone and go run an ad. And I was like, why can't you do that with mail? And then we tried to generate a tool that could do it and send it to printers. The printers like, it's not possible. You can't do it yourself. You want it to go out too quick. You need minimum orders, stuff. And we just looked at those printers and we're like, those are big computers. Let's make them talk to each other. And we were in 1,200 square feet when we started this business. We're in 32,000 square feet now in the Twin Cities. We do all of our manufacturing internally, all of our postcards end to end, like everything from the system, from the software to the fulfillment. We do it all in house.
That's massive growth for such a short period of time.
Dude, it's been a wild ride. Again, I was talking to a coach of mine the other day. He was like, Dave, what were you thinking when you started this thing? Like, where are you going? I was like, dude, I had no clue. Like, I knew what I was trying to solve. I knew that there weren't a lot of people focused on solving that problem. Like capacity is a big thing we don't understand a lot with businesses. Sometimes not having enough leads is just as bad as having too many leads. And when you truly look at your business, like, where am I going? How am I growing? What are my goals? We all want to, service. There's 4 million people in Minneapolis. I could wash all of their windows. I could. But they're not all my customer. And so when I looked at that in relation to dope with like, where was I going? What were we doing? I don't have an MBA. Dude, I went to 9 high schools and took out 3 student loans to sell weed with. Like, I'm not some formally educated, like what. But I think as you scale and you get to numbers, regardless of what vertical you're in, industry, business gets really relative. And one thing that I found out what I'm good at is just admitting what I'm not good at. And I only got, a half a kidney left, I think, from selling all the parts of it to build these things that I've done. But it's always been really important to me when I looked at building dope and learning what I learned from my cleaning company and my data business and some of the other things I've been involved in is like, how do I just get out of my own way? Because like I am a visionary to a fault. Like I got an idea. I got a way to change something. I don't count wins as much as I count losses. Like I'm a problem solver. I look at the problems and like you just get to these different levels and phases of business. It's one thing to understand your why or understand, doing a SWOT analysis and understand the stuff that you're good at. It's another thing to be honest enough with yourself in the morning, like, dude, what do I really want to do? And where can I really make the most impact? Because I'm just really thankful, man, for the lessons I've learned along the way with this rapid growth. I've been so fortunate to get around some people, just get into rooms of people doing some of the same or similar stuff. And just from some of the, I was never like a guy getting coaches or, trying to find mentors and stuff. But over the past 2.5, 3 years, me and my wife have made some big changes in our life. We stopped drinking, got really into health and wellness stuff. And again, to each their own. I want everyone to smoke weed out of their gun with their husband and be a pronoun. Go do all of it. Like do what makes you happy. But I think as a business owner, we forget sometimes like, we didn't just start it for the financial freedom or the time with our kids or the stuff that we, you know, like whatever we went in, we figured we could do it better because we were a technician and the owner was a knucklehead that we work with, whatever your reason is. When you truly understand, like, where am I trying to go or what am I trying to do? Like, things just get more clear. And I can tell you from a business that's growing kind of fast, like I had no clue what I was doing, where I was going, like what I was trying. But as it growed, you know, that clarity that I have now, it just makes it so much easier for me to make decisions. Like, and I couldn't have told you that 3 years ago.
So is it just something you kind of like developed as time went on? And how did you get that clarity?
Man, I think it's you got to hold yourself accountable to be self-aware enough to admit like what you can do and what you look. We can all do everything better than one of our employees. Everyone that's got an EIN. The E and EIN doesn't always stand for employer. It stands for ego. And sometimes you just got to put that shit away and realize that like your skill set, what got you here, won't necessarily get you there. Mm-hmm. So if you're the best technician in your company, like that's a problem. Gary Vaynerchuk will say, like, you just got to hire people that can do 70% of what you can do. I don't agree at all. I think they need to be able to do 30% of what you can do. Because if you can look at like, you know, let's look at home service. You have marketing, sales. Sometimes they get combined. You have operations, you know, like the office, scheduling, making sure stuff's ordered right, like all those things. You have your technicians, your crews in the field, then you have whatever level of management that oversees that if you make buckets out of it. If you just hold yourself accountable and look at that person in the mirror every morning, like, dude, what am I really, really good at? Where can I make the most impact to the business? Depending on how far you are in your career, your journey, how long your business has been open, that answer might be different than it was last year or 3 years ago. And a lot of times what I found is like, I would just hang on to shit like, dude, I need to be involved. I need to know what's going on. Nothing's going to be perfect. Like you can go into all the Mamba mentality and the strive of perfection and going through these things. But like, when you truly, truly, truly realize that like true control, we all want to have control, right? I want to control my business. I want to control my life. I want to control my kids and how they're being raised different than I was raised and like all these things. But when you truly realize that like actual control, real control is giving up control and giving yourself permission for things to go wrong. Because when things go wrong, it's like wins are great. We can, we just got Inc. 475. That's amazing. That was a dopamine hit for me for a day. I'm thankful. Yeah. I'm great. But like, let's keep the momentum. Let's not focus too much. And so I think like when you can truly hold yourself accountable to focus on not only what you're good at, but where do you make the most impact to your business? Do you need to do every sale? Do you need to be on every job site? Do you need to communicate with every customer? If there's 100 people watching this, half of you might raise your hand on a bunch of that stuff. My lesson, my journey just allowed me to, you know, and again, this was getting around people that have just done this shit before, scaled fast, gone to places, take the industry out of it. You just got to like trust your gut and your spidey senses, but at the same time, like give yourself a little grace and some permission to get some shit wrong because like what's going to be, you want to hold yourself to perfection or you even want to try to hold yourself to the try holding other people to the standard you hold yourself all day. Let me know where that gets.
Oh yeah. That won't work.
Lonely fucking place. And so like, I think that, you know, you hear the cliches all the time in life about kids, you know, changing your life. I know like so I have 5 kids. I have an 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, 4, 2.5, and 1. And when I think about like, you know, when I met my daughter, who's 11 now for the first time, and I truly saw something that I loved more than myself and more than my wife, it was just like, as parents, who's ever watching live or replay that's a parent, that stuff just changes you, but you can give yourself permission to have a little bit more clarity now. Because I promise you, like that email that you didn't respond to at 7:30, as important as you thought it was, does not mean shit.
Yeah.
Like nothing. And so as I continue to kind of level up and the zeros are adding and the stress and the dude, we had 15 employees last year. I have 67 employees right now for Dope. It's insane. Like our payroll in a month costs more than the house I grew up in. And It's like, I look at these things and I give myself the permission to not be so affected by the day-to-day. I think a lot of times as business owners, we're making 1 week, 1 month decisions. When unless you're going to sell your business on December 31st and you're having a fire sale, like You need to get in the mentality of making 1 year, 3 years. Says, oh yeah, David, sounds great. You made all this. Like, no, it's not that. It's just the mentality that you approach things with. It allows you to communicate with people better. It allows you to set proper expectations. Can anyone relate to everything being urgent all the time in your business? You ever been in that world where like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this, and it's got to be now. Think about like the people that just are working a 9 to 5 for you and how affected they are that everything that comes out of your mouth is the most urgent thing since the last thing that you said. And just like taking a step back and thinking about, whether you got one employee or a helper, or you got a bunch of crews. One thing that really helped me was like the accountability of realizing that everyone that I communicated with during the day, like their whole day, their whole week could be dependent on that one simple interaction with me. And no matter if I'm like some high performer, go-getter, running after it, talking fast, shaking hands, kissing babies, all that shit, it's like, you just got to be a little bit more delicate. You just got to let things kind of happen. Because again, there is a world where like, I am selling this thing and we are going, and then it is that urgent and it can come across like that. But 9 out of 10 times, it's like the pressure we put on ourselves and the pressure that we put around the people around us. Like we don't even know it all the time, but that's been one of the biggest growth, like impact moments for me as I go to the ahas or the light bulbs just over the past, my entrepreneurial career is 15 years.
Yeah.
Over the last 3 years, seeing this thing kind of going is like, I'm not doing anything that hasn't been done, but we can get number 1 on the Inc. list. Like there's plenty of people over the years that are way more than we are. But I just go to this world where like one of my biggest aha moments is just like, let the bird land. Give it a little grace. Give it a little time. Don't say today. It's this
Gary
week.
Vee says that too. He says that, they're not you. They don't own the business. They're never going to be you. And I had a problem with that too. Like, because I was such a, I started installing. So I was a technician for so long. So just breaking that technician mindset and like, nobody can touch it but me. Or, no one's, why aren't you working as hard as I work? It's, they're not going to. They don't own the business.
And you can't expect them to. A lot of times, how often have you want to look in? Is it okay if I swear? I swear.
Yeah, man. I do it all the time.
Like, yeah. How many times do you look at people in your business? You're just like, what the fuck are you doing? And it's like, they're not thinking like you. That's what they're not doing, or they would own this thing. Like it's that simple. And so I think just like, I would never downplay what owners are going through in the growth years. Let's go year like 1 to 3, that hard shit where you're doing like everything on your own. It's easy to hear this or give advice. Like, no, just ride it out. It'll be fine. Just stay the course. And you're like, dude, I'm trying to pay my fucking bills and I can't. Like, but it's taking a step back and holding yourself accountable for like, why'd you do this? Why'd you start it? Like, what do you, one really like aha moment thing. So we've been very fortunate to have like people are trying to like buy our business or offer money and get in. And we're so blessed. Like I've never taken an investment. We've never taken a dollar from anyone. Oh, well, it's all us. No, nothing. And because of that, like there's just a way to understand that I want to make sure I say this right. When you have the ability to take a step back and truly understand your why and hold yourself accountable, like, dude, if you have kids, your number one goal should be to spend more time with your kids because there's probably shit you remember from your upbringing that you're just trying to do different as a parent. I was talking to my wife the other day about, you those moments you remember in your life growing up when like someone like an adult told you something, you kind of like live by it. So it's not the times that we think when you're grabbing your son, like, dude, you've been playing Fortnite for 2 hours. This is not productive. Let's do something good. Or you just pushed your brother and sister and you can't be me. Like they don't remember that stuff. Start calling them the grocery store moments, the Home Depot moments. It's just like when you're being intentional instead of, when you're being deliberate instead of intentional. Mm-hmm. When you're actually saying, like it's one thing to create these moments for any of you parents or planning parents. So it's one thing to be intentional, right? I'm going to intentionally put my phone upstairs when I get home so I can spend time with my kids. I have that intention. What if I am deliberately going to play a game with my kids to just have some minutes with them? It's not about the phone or the thought that I had around being intentional about something, but I'm going to just change the word up. I am going to deliberately schedule time to do something where the only thing that'll happen during that time, I'm going to be deliberate. And so like, when you go back to those moments, what do you learn? What do? You go through this stuff. Like I know a lot of people on here know like our guy, Tommy Mello. Look at that story. I mean, that is insane what Tommy has done in a tiny little industry like garage doors to take it all the way to private equity to one of the biggest transactions any of us in home service will ever hear of. And he just knew his why the whole time. He just knew the grind, dude. Like a lot of us were blessed enough to know Tommy 7-8 years ago when he was on his laptop, figuring out the shit with A1 on his own with a headset on, just banging. And you look at these people that are definitions of like, it's the cliche stuff. Stay in the course, tried and true, just like grinding, dude. Competition, it's always been the funniest word to me, dude, because like, I'm just going to wake up earlier and go to sleep later and outwork you. Like, and when you look back at the people that have the stories, that have the lessons, that made the lists, that did the thing, dude, so much of it is cliche. Dial in, focus on what you're good at, do the boring shit, the systems, the processes, the grinding, the EOS, the L10 meetings, all of that stuff. And then you grind that out for 3 years, 5 years, 7 years. And it's just like, I'm not going to say it's predictable, but you can.
We complicate a lot of it
every day. Every day. Absolutely.
So I've been following your fitness journey, which I used to be an ex-trainer, so I'm totally into fitness. I've been at it too. So how important is that in business, do you feel? And how's it helped you?
So to each their own. I mean, like I'm never going to be the person that says like you have to work out to be whatever, but I'll go to the cliches. When I walk into a room full of a bunch of people that I'll define as like financially successful, business successful, they all do the same shit. They wake up early, they exercise, they understand their diet, they throw in a little hippie woo-woo, hot, cold therapy, sauna, cold plunge, whatever. But I think it's like anything, dude. It's like we got to realize we're human and we have vices. And some of our vices are good, some of them are bad. And I've had every bad vice that a lot of you have read about, seen in the movies. You're like a lot of us, right? We're in the home service industry. Like we've been exposed to things that probably don't affect us in the best way possible. And for me and my wife made a decision. We stopped counting. It'll be 3 years next year, wherever that lines up. And we stopped drinking because I just saw my behavior. Like I was never a come home, crack a beer guy. I think all of us, I don't mean to keep talking about COVID and this, and we got a couple COVID babies in the Carroll household, but it was like, I just saw like I was drinking a couple times a day. I didn't like how it made me felt. I'm out of town. I'm the wild man. I'm doing, it was just like, I felt like I was like watching a version of myself that like I wasn't really proud of. And for me, it was the drinking stuff. But again, to each their own. The fitness, the wellness came when I had the dedication and the discipline built by giving something else up that I kind of used as a crutch for me. And then I got really avid into running, and running for me became my crazy fucking wild man place that I can go to the pain cave and go work some shit out. Like
that's a real high when you're done,
dude. Like and I was never a runner. Dude, up until 2.5 years ago, I didn't run a mile since the president's race in 4th grade. And I got like last place. Like I was never Mr. Runner. But for me, I found that, you just, anyone that's listening, look up like Andrew Huberman. He's been on the Rogan podcast a couple times for any Rogan fan. What's the other guy? Pettit. These longevity people, these Harvard scientists that talk about this stuff. And I don't mean to make this a whole like parenting spiel, but when you look at your kids, like I just want to be healthy and be around for them. Like when my youngest son is 20, I'll be 60. And like, I'm trying to kick it. I'm trying to go run. I'm trying to go walk around in Italy. I'm trying to go do whatever. And like, I think it's just like our business. So the most important number you'll ever hear in your life is 1440. It's how many minutes you got in the day. You got to eat, you got to sleep, you got to spend time with your family, you got to do. So like, take all that stuff out. Now you got like 900 minutes. You can choose what to do with. And it's like the minutes you invest in some working out, some just checking your diet, some just whatever, like none of it's going to harm you. And I go to like, what's your hard? Is your hard that you're all stressed out because you're sleeping 4.5 hours a night, pounding fucking Red Bulls, eating at McDonald's. And even if you're not like out of shape or whatever, I would challenge you to just like try to look at like a little bit cleaner eating, focus on your sleep a little bit more. And if you exercise, you'll be more hungry for better food and you'll sleep better. Throw a little sauna cold plunge in there. You're off to the races, dude. And I think like when you look at, successes in the cliches, no one's got this success thing more figured out than anyone else. You just look at a lot of the people that are where you are at and when you want to be in your life. And when you come to the realization that a lot of them do the same shit every day, I'm just trying to do things on that list versus the list of the dudes I grew up with who probably aren't doing a bunch of super productive shit all the time, focusing on, it's mental, it's physical, throw a little spiritual in there if you get down with that type of get down. And I think it's just like the wellness journey for me, what I love about it, it's the journey that I'm on every day. It's the work I do every day. And what I can say, because I go in phases like everyone else, if you take me on a week where I'm dialed in and I'm working out and getting 3-4 workouts in a week, I'm somewhat focused on what I'm eating, dude. I got 5 kids. I still eat chicken tenders and mac and cheese and ice cream and all that shit all the time. Yeah. But just a little bit of a focus on it. Here's my body, here's my temple. What am I putting in here? Dude, the week that I work out and the week I don't work out, I'll tell you which one I feel better. The one I get more shit done, the more I feel better about myself. And the whole pyramid we just talked about, it's every single time I will go to. If I'm a little more focused, I'm a little bit disciplined, like most things in life, my week will go that much better and I'll feel better. And if I feel better, how am I communicating with all the people in my life that depend on me? Probably.
Yep. No, I agree. I'm pretty big into I don't eat any sugar. I'm really big on my diet. It's animal based. And, like if I go to a convention and you're there eating all that food, I feel it. Like, that the next week I feel it.
Hell yeah. And again, it's like, pick your hard. I am not on here as your fitness guru telling you need to stop doing whatever. But dude, like most things in life, just test it a little bit. What if you said, man, I've been eating Chick-fil-A 4 times a week because I'm doing estimates all day. What if I just cut that down and I did Chipotle instead of Chick-fil-A? And just it's the little wins. There's a thing going on right now, those 22 push-ups a day for the 22 military veterans. Yeah. So it's like, dude, if you're like, Dave, I weigh 280 pounds. I can't do a push-up or walk a half mile. Do 5. Do something. Give yourself a win. Just stack that shit up. With accountability comes discipline. With discipline comes results.
Yep. No, I agree. I had one more question I wanted to ask. How did you come up with the dope name Dope?
Outside of the fact that I say dope 17 times in every sentence when I'm talking, it was a funny story. So a friend of mine, Joe Coate, we hired to do some branding stuff. We were taking my data company. We were going to come out with this direct mail company. I had no clue what to call it. So we did this super high end, like Madison Ave. It was really expensive branding engagement. And I'm up one night, probably rolled one up, I don't know. And I'm filling out this fucking encyclopedia of how do you feel about your customer avatar? What is your dialed in offering to your pet? And I'm just like, man, I just want to start a dope company. I wanted to have our customers feel dope all day and do the dopest shit all day. And I'm just like being half a jerk or whatever.
Yeah.
Joe calls me the next day like, Dave, I got it. We're going to call it dope marketing. And if anyone knows about my background, I wasn't involved in the most illicit things my whole life. And Joe's like, it's dope marketing. I'm like, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. We are not calling it. And so we're going back and forth. I'm kind of being persuaded, like it sticks, right? And so I go out on this. My stepmom had a pontoon. We go out on the pontoon and she was like one of Napa's biggest distributors for abrasive grinding material. My dad hit a home run with his third wife. Then Diana, if you're watching this, I love you. You're amazing. But Diana's a very serious woman and I take her very seriously. And so I'm out on the boat and Diana's like, so David, your dad tells me you're opening another business. What's it called? I'm like, dope marketing. She's like, oh, you mean like if I used your services, my clients would get addicted to my product like they're on dope. And I'm like, Diana, if you can make something out of it, like it works, it's great. And then fast forward a year. So anyone's seen us at the trade show, it's going to be down at Gutter Summit. We'll have the dope hoodies, right? Our red dope hoodies, kind of like our trademark thing. So I'm standing outside. This is like 3 years ago, pretending I quit smoking outside this trade show. And this guy, Eric, they make movies about guys like him, multiple tours, sniper, the whole thing like that. And shout out to our veterans because it's I didn't know this, but Eric's like, "Hey, Bubba, you know what dope stands for?" I'm like, "No, Eric, I think I know. I have no clue." Eric explains to me in his Southern accent. I won't keep trying to mimic it. A good sniper needs dope for their scope. Dope stands for data on previous engagement. And when the stars align, sometimes when you have a moment and you get it right, so I'll never take credit. It is a military term I did not know about, but it played so much into our mission, what we do, how we help our customers. And yeah, it's a cool story.
Yeah, that was like a sign. It has to be this name.
Sometimes, you know, you look up and those stars just align and it works. I'll say a lot. We don't got it.
You guys do nice work. I printed up like 800 signs last year.
Yeah. Man, look, I'd like to say, like, your customers have 100 problems during the day. Your business should solve 2 to 5 of them perfectly. We figured out a dope print, data, direct mail, tracking, analytics. Like, that's really our jam.
Yep.
In the print and the traditional marketing space.
So that's awesome, man. So yeah, I meant to say this in the beginning, but Dave's going to be giving away a free Gutter Summit ticket. So if you drop the word dope in the comments, we can maybe get you one.
Yeah. Let's get this out. I'm just sharing this out a couple times here. All right.
And you're also going to be doing a fire speech while you're there. Do you have any like tidbits or any like hints or what the?
Yeah. So me and John were going back and forth. He had come up with a title for the presentation. I think, you know, as we get into, so the event will be in October. A lot of us will be like into our season, depending on where you're at. You know, if you're in Atlanta working, you probably got a little more work that you can do exterior that you can in Minnesota. You're getting into December, January, depending on what other services you offer. I really like to dial in when we go into like Q4, wrapping up even though we're still working and we're busy and you got to be focused. I really like to go into like planning. What are we looking at? What do we learn this year? So I think my presentation will be a lot around giving yourself permission to make data-driven decisions in your business and kind of just some of the 101. There's a lot of buzzwords and adjectives when I say shit like that, but it's like how to understand leaning into what you're doing right and use that growth mentality, not making 1 day, 1 week decisions, but making 1 quarter, 1 year, 2-year decisions in your business. And kind of like the understanding of how to give yourself permission to do that is going to be kind of my focus.
I like it. Yeah. I think it's definitely needed. I tell people all the time, like a lot of times they're doing the right things. They're just not doing enough of it or knowing what to focus on.
Amen. Consistency. If anyone knows or follows Brandon Vaughn, Brandon's a stud, and he's who I always think about when you get into that true discipline. Brandon, I'll put Tommy in the same stage as like you look at these businesses that just scaled a lot. And one of the take the, you know, owner, you got to figure out how to live life and some of the stuff we talked about today. But when you go to the discipline around the systems and the processes, true scale comes with simplicity. And if a system's not simple, it can't scale.
Keep it simple, stupid, right?
Amen. Hey, unless you want to be stupid. I mean, you make that.
Then don't keep it stupid. Good deal, man. Well, I really appreciate you coming on here. I think everyone's going to get a lot of value. Again, drop dope in the comments. Maybe you'll get that free ticket. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you at the summit and getting to hear your speech. And it's going to be very impactful, man.
I'm super, super excited for it. I know we'll be doing a lot more promotion like leading up to the show, but thank you everyone today for those 1,440 minutes you spent some of them with us today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.